Hi, everyone. So when Amanda and I met with Katie, I said, I want to write about the first time I got drunk. And then I started doing that, and I realized that the circumstances around how I got drunk were heavier than I first thought they were going to be. So we're just going to go there tonight. Woo! The Mad Dog 2020 was everything. It was kiwi strawberry flavored, a fifth, my cousin Jordan called it as I grabbed it from him. I hid it on the lowest shelf of my bedroom closet behind a bag of stuffed animals. Earlier he told me he didn't want to be a good boy no more. What good does it do, he asked, when my brother barely does anything and gets stuff? It was true. Jordan was 13, a straight-A student wearing baseball jerseys, sweet on the eyes, with a kind personality that matched, and that kid that played baseball so well it would follow him for the rest of his life. His brother Dominic was 16, my age, kicked out of every school, disturbed, they said, long gone to a deep-seated brokenness that frightened everyone around him. So yes, Dominic would have a good day and get rewarded, or Jordan was expected to do well. Don't say you're going to give up like that. You don't mean that, do you, Jordan? I insisted. You're smart, you're a good baseball player, you're about to go to high school, and what if you get a baseball scholarship? I knew this conversation was important. You're only gonna hurt yourself, I said, almost begging. Nah, it's not worth it, Nati, he insisted. He was done being good. I couldn't stand the thought of him having this alcohol in his bag, or me being privy to the first step of his plan to get drunk and derail his life at 13. It's not that I didn't understand what he was doing. We were first cousins and witnessed to many painful things we never talked about. I was the oldest of 5 and skilled at being the girl other people wanted me to be. For most of my life, I didn't speak in school, and I got good grades, good enough to be in the top 5% of my middle school and to get into Lowell, an academic high school. I yanked the bottle away, hoping that would protect him from something. On Monday, I snuck the MD 2020 into my backpack. I took it to school and cut class with my boyfriend. I asked him to take me to the lake where I heard all the popular kids had cake parties. I'd never been drunk before, never even tasted alcohol before, but I knew what I was doing. I dated him, who some called a bad boy, a Mexican-American kid who lived across from the Army Street projects, drank beer in his driveway on hot days, and wore Dickies and a hairnet when I met him. He actually took AP classes, read philosophy, and started a children's book collection, even though he was certain he wouldn't live past 21. The secret to staying alive, he once told me, was to pretend to be crazy. He'd sit there right on the back of the bus in the middle of the guys that scared him the most, and he'd rock back and forth in his seat so they wouldn't mess with him. By the time we reached the lake, I'd already chugged most of the Mad Dog down. I was getting so wasted the treetops blurred together above me. It was a completely new feeling. I didn't care if people could see us half naked through the trees or that the ground was damp below me. With the sweet and tangy alcohol, I gave myself permission to let go, to fuck, to suck, to get sloppy, to cut class. Maybe my cousin Jordan was right about this stuff. The world spun out, and I wanted more. But my boyfriend wasn't drinking and had put himself in charge of the glass bottle filled with my strawberry sweetness. There was still some at the bottom of the bottle and I tried to grab for it, but he pulled it away. I want it, I yelled. He smiled and lifted his arm as though to give it to me. Instead, he threw it hard toward the lake. It spun past tree trunks to the water and splashed in. Come on, you're done, he said. I watched the bottle sink. The idea of going back to school felt like drowning. Felt like being trapped under the weight of the girl I was supposed to be. My cousin Jordan never asked me about his MD 2020. I never told him about getting drunk off it. Maybe the bottle was nothing to him, just one of many he could get a hold of already, or maybe he wanted to forget the conversation. By the time I saw him again, he was full swing into being someone new, all rosary beads and sagging pants and gang colors and tattoos, still sweet as could be, but high off his ass most of the time. Always rolling at least 4 people deep at family get-togethers, usually standing on the corner with his homies unless it was time to come in and eat. "What's up, Maki?" he'd say, grab a plate of food, and curl up next to me on the couch. He was a baby daddy by 14. From then on, he was in and out of juvie and then prison. At 17, my dad died and we saw each other less and less. My dad's sudden death reverberated through the family, and the distance between Hayward, where Jordan lived, and San Francisco, where we lived, grew. The years since he handed over the mad dog to me had changed us. In college, I worked with the Beat Within, leading writing sessions in San Jose's Juvenile Detention Center. In the young men's ward, I'd connect with guys like Jordan. I thought of him when I entered through security, but by the time I walked those long corridors, passing locked doors, and the guards chaperoning me into the classroom, I pushed him out of my mind. It was too much. The young men wrote about love and loss, their girlfriends and families on the outside, their ride or dies, about regret and about dreams and more. Inside, I somehow felt closer to him, but outside, I never reached out. The last time I saw Jordan was at our grandfather's funeral. I was back from school on the East Coast where I received a scholarship. I had come out and had 2 abortions, voted for Obama, and stopped believing in God. But only my sisters and mom knew that. The buzz was that Jordan had a second child on the way and he wanted to do better. Jordan didn't step into the church, he stayed outside. My grandfather's will stated that he wanted his granddaughters to be the pallbearers at his funeral to show us he was proud of us. But it meant that Jordan and Dominic, who'd grown up in the home with me, weren't standing alongside me and my sisters as we carried Grandpa in and out of the church. When we left the funeral, Jordan stepped in front of the car, stalling our exit from the church parking lot. He asked my mom to roll down her driver's side window. "Tia Via," he said, "can you do that thing you do where you bless me on the forehead? I'm going back into the pen." Sometimes I want to go back to that day without a good girl or a bad boy. That moment when we were just 2 cousins battling over the Mad Dog 2020. It was everything.